Good morning, afternoon. Hey, Bhava community. How are you doing out there? Happy Sunday. I can't believe we're almost through the month. I think next week we're doing this on the 1st of August. How did this happen? I swear, growing up is ridiculous. Like time moves really fast and things just go by much more quickly. But well, there's the human experience. How are you? Check in with me. Tell me where you are and what's happening in your land, in your world. I'm eager to hear from you today and connect and communicate in this incredible container of spirit. I am so grateful and happy that you're here and joining me today, and we'll be able to create this community, this virtual gathering, living in partnership with spirit. So, for those of you who do not know me or not familiar with the Bhava Spiritual Mission, my name is Ingrid H. Turner. I'm the founder of The Mission. The Mission is a church, and we are here to help you connect with the infinite through the modalities of psychic intuition, channeling, and mediumship. We do this, we train people how to use their gifts and explore their gifts and do that deeper healing work so that they can come birth their goodness out into the world and help raise the consciousness of this entire planet and bring us into the golden age. It's an amazing gig if you can get it, and you can learn more about us and what we're doing and our ministry and our website, bhavamission.org, which is in the in the description. Hey, Faizana, I'm so glad to see you on here today. Hello, Renee, beautiful. I'm happy you're here. I love you so very much. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about what we're doing today. It's interactive, okay? I want you talking to me. Amen, says Renee. Amen. I am here to deliver a message from spirit as it comes through me. You are here to help us all expand on that message from spirit. This is not me talking at you and telling you what's up. I am not your guru. Okay. I am a channel for divine spirit. You are also a channel for spirit. When we get together, even if it's virtually, we activate each other. We open ourselves up that much further. Boom. All right. So what you receive, what impressions you have, what questions come for you, what stories pop into your head while we are in this space of channeling divine spirit, it's valid. And I want you to be brave, and I want you to leave the comments. Okay. I want you to tell us what you're getting. Help us expand on this message. Hi, Gwen. I'm so glad to see you today, darling. Glad you're here. So when we expand on this message, it's coming through me, but spirit can get in as far as my experience will let spirit in. All right. It's always going to come through the lens of my perspective. And the same is true for you. Spirit is going to come through the lens of your perspective, which means on our own, we're limited. We're limited in the understanding that we have of Holy Spirit and Divine Spirit's message for us today. But when we get together, we begin to expand on that message, because you're going to be able to pull in nuances and angles and perspectives and understandings of Divine Spirit that I'm not able to. So that's why we really encourage interaction on these broadcasts. So because you are helping me and everybody who's watching us live and joining in live, and everybody who's catching the replay and scanning the comments and help me bring it on and talking more about what you're bringing through, you're helping everyone more deeply understand the message for Divine Spirit. And that is incredible. And that is good and holy work. And I'm so thrilled that you're doing it with us today. Okay, so here's the format, my darling. We are going to ground ourselves in, because we want to be good, solid, matched in with the earth's energies as we open up to Divine Spirit. As we ground in, I'm going to open us up with a prayer. And that is when I'm going to invite you to share your prayers, to put your stuff into the prayer pot. And you're going to leave a comment when you do that. All right. So you can pray for yourself, for a situation that you're going through, maybe a challenge is happening. You can put loved ones into the pot. You can put your challenging folks into the pot. Prayer is so powerful, my darling. Prayer is so powerful, especially in this new energy, new earth, new paradigm. When we show up and open ourselves up to prayer, we change things. We let God in to make the most of what is happening in the situation. We heal by any means necessary. Our loved ones heal by any means necessary. It's incredible. And I want to invite you into the power of prayer for that time when we're going to open up and say our prayers. And I'm going to back you up. We're going to all focus in. Okay, here's what we're praying for. And boom, we're doing it together. Once we have gotten through some prayers and you've left it and we're feeling really good and juicy and opened up and super grounded into the earth's energies, I'm going to start talking about the message that Spirit brought through for me today. And I actually knew what I was going to talk about last night. I got it on the way home as I was driving back to Northern California from Los Angeles. So this is yummy. This is going to be good. Okay. Without further ado, let's ground in. I want you to sit up straight if you're able to and close your eyes with me. And let's take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to feel all of your energy begin to pool in your root chakra. Maybe it'll feel warm or tingly, or you'll just be aware that it's happening. Take a deep breath in and pull the energy from your root into your heart. Exhale and hold the energy in your heart. Inhale and pull the energy from your heart into your crown. Exhale and hold the energy in your crown. Inhale and pull the energy out of your body. Feel it connect to divine source energy. And with the out breath, pull that energy back into your body and into your heart. Breathe in and hold the energy in your heart. Breathe out and pull the energy down to your root. Breathe in and hold the energy in your root. Breathe out and push the energy down your legs and into your feet. Breathe in and hold the energy in your feet. Breathe out and push the energy into the earth. Feel that energy hook in with the earth's core and take a deep breath in and pull it back up towards your feet. Exhale. Inhale and feel the energy hit the soles of your feet and move up your legs and pool again in the root chakra and exhale into your root chakra. And I would like to open us up today with the prayer that we connect wholly and completely the God within us with Source all around us, that we are able to open ourselves up more fully to divine love than ever before, and that we're able to maintain that opening and awakening to Spirit and bring it out into our lives, touching every being, every situation, every challenge with drops of divine love, with great faith and understanding and compassion, and the deepest strength that comes from a practice of unconditional love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So at this time, I'd like to invite you to throw your prayers in, ride this wave of divine spirit. And I'd like to put in my beautiful partner, Shay, and his family. His stepfather passed last night, and I'd like to ask Spirit to help his stepfather move swiftly, lovingly back to grace, merging back to the infinite. And I ask for love and support and faith as Shay and his family move through this difficult time together and begin to stand fully again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll also put myself in the pot because I had a weird allergic reaction to something, and I've got weird stuff going on with my body, and I would like clarity and guidance to move to healing by any means necessary to understand what it is my body is rejecting so that I can treat it more beautifully and more lovingly. Thank you, thank you. All right, so go ahead and share what you have with your beautiful prayers and what we can put in. Follow the love. Hang on a second. Let me breathe. Life is simple when you boil everything down to love. Life is simple when you boil everything down to love. Wherever there is rigidity in your experience, in your thinking, you are keeping love out. Wherever there is, this is what we call our ego identity, that rigidity, that thinking, when you're keeping love out. We get so sort of calcified in our boxes. And it's our ego coming in to try and protect us from difficulties, to protect us from our fears, protect us from being unsafe. It's a very human experience. But we have the ability as divine beings to bypass this rigidity. And it's a really good practice, a good exercise, a good awareness to remember that whenever you have rigidity in your thinking, you are keeping love out. And this happens in all kinds of areas of our lives. It happens in our relationships. When we have rigidity in our thinking in our relationships, whether it's family or romance or work relationships or our children. I think I'm sure that as humans, this is part of our experience, is this, we can get real rigid. And when we get that rigidity, we are keeping love out. Let's talk about our children for a minute. When we have a desire or a need for our children to behave a certain way or be a certain way or think a certain way, or we want to pass on our values to our children, that's what we call it. We want to pass on our values because we feel like our values are good. There's rigidity in our thinking, rigidity in our experience. We are rigid in our own values and rigid in our love, even for our children, because we are insisting that we want them to have our values. We want them to think this way. When we want our children to be successful, we talk about how we want our children to be happy. But the truth is, we want our children to be successful in the eyes of how we view success, to be, showing us that we have done right, that we have achieved what we need to achieve as their parents. But the truth is, when you feel into it, there's that tension. When you feel that tension in your thinking, in your relationships, then you're not letting love in. You're keeping love out. You're kind of holding it out, softening those edges, showing up in presence and compassion in your relationships, bringing down those walls of rigidity opens you up to the practice of unconditional love in your relationships. That does not necessarily mean, that doesn't ever mean that you show up and you're a doormat. Codependency and attachment is not unconditional love, but showing up in the rigidity but showing up in witnessing, compassion, hearing, allowing the experience of the other person, that is unconditional love. Allowing it no matter what it is. And then allowing your own experience, that is unconditional love. Not controlling or projecting or blaming, but just letting yourself be fully in that experience. That is the practice of love. Another example of rigidity showing up in our thinking is in our spirituality. Whether we are connected to an established religious structure that feels good to us and helps us move into our God consciousness, our faith, or if we are not resonant with those structures. Either way, we can show up with rigidity in our thinking and our spirituality, and there we keep love out. We keep God's love out. To show up in compassion and witness of all experiences and even our own, that's how we bring those walls down. That's how we bring those walls of rigidity down and allow divine love to move into our experience and practice that unconditional love. What are some other ways that we can have rigidity in our thinking? What's coming up for you? What do you got for us? rigidity in ourselves, how we ought to be, what success looks like for us, what being right and good looks like for us, what it means to be a good woman or a good man. Where are we getting rigid and not allowing ourselves our full experience and bringing those walls down? How is this feeling to you? I'm checking in. Is this resonating with you? Do you understand? Life is simple when you boil it down to love. Rigidity in our thinking keeps love out. Rigidity keeps love out. How can you soften today? How can you soften right now? What experiences can you what can you let bubble up in you that softens you? Forgiveness pops into my head really strongly. Where can you forgive yourself and soften that rigid place? Where can you forgive others and soften that rigid place? You can forgive and still be pissed, by the way. Like, it's possible. Forgiveness is releasing the need for it to be different. Forgiveness is radical acceptance of what is and allowing another human or allowing yourself to be fully where you're at. When you accept completely, you've popped into love again. You've let the walls down. Radical acceptance brings down the rigidity, in your thinking. And when you are able to see, being rigid like this takes a lot of effort and a lot of focus and a lot of attention to keep those rigid walls up, to keep yourself right, to keep yourself aligned with your identity, with what your Renee says rigidity is not allowing your feelings. Very much so. Yes. Or insisting on feeling, like holding on to feelings, perhaps holding resentments, holding grudges. There's rigidity there as well. It's like you can have a full experience, but when you insist on hanging on to that, just the other side of that, Renee, I believe both things are true. Rigidity is not allowing your feelings, but rigidity is also holding on to feelings that maybe you don't need to feel anymore. Forgiveness feels like a really big part of this message. Follow the love. Follow the love. When you follow love, everything gets simple. The minute you find your life is complicated or your thinking is complicated, you have hit rigidity in your experience and you are not softening and allowing love to guide you and lead you. Love starts with yourself. It really does. I know it's cliche, but they say you can't love yourself or love another person until you love yourself. Well, let's break that down a little bit. You can love other people without loving yourself. But when you do not love yourself, when you do not open yourself up fully to spirit and allow, well, I should say when you keep yourself rigid in your own experiences with yourself and don't love yourself, the love you give to others is tainted and muddy with attachments, maybe codependency or expectations. It becomes rigid and the unconditional nature of your love becomes closed off. Unconditional love is a practice. Unconditional love is a practice. Following the love is a practice. Following the love. We are humans and we are here for the imperfect experience. Ram Dass talked about it like when you see a tree out in nature and it's all growing in all kinds of different directions and gnarled, you don't think like, oh, that tree is not perfect. It's not growing perfect straight up and down. You appreciate the variance. And that's what humans are experiencing. And it is through the imperfection and the contrasting experience and the experience of rigidity to softening, to rigidity to softening. This is going to be part of our human experience. But you, as a human on the spiritual path, committed to living in partnership with spirit, you get to make unconditional love your spiritual practice. And remember that love is patient and love is kind, right? Love is patient, love is kind. We've all heard that, and that's a really powerful statement. So be patient with yourself as you move through life and as you identify and notice where you are rigid in your own thinking, where you are rigid in your own feeling with yourself and with others, and be patient as you slowly make your way, make those walls come down. Be kind to yourself when you notice yourself living out of love, living in not love. We're here for the whole spectrum of the human experience, but your purpose here is to make your way back to divine love because you're on this broadcast, watching me, hearing this message, showing up in this lifetime. Maybe not everybody is doing that this lifetime, but you are. So love yourself through it. I say that a lot. Love yourself through it. This week I went to Los Angeles because my sister was visiting, was going to be in California. She lives in Pennsylvania. She messaged me a couple weeks ago and said, I'm going to be in California such and such a day. How close are you to LA? And I said, I'm not close at all, but I'll be there. It has been 25 years since I've seen this woman. She's my father's daughter. And I haven't seen her since shortly before he died 25 years ago. So, and actually, yeah, it's going to be 25 years this year that my father passed away. So it really has been like 25 years. So I, drove down there and I hooked up with my mother and we went and we saw her and we had a great time and we got to have dinner, just us, the two of us. And her and I are both very spiritual and we have very different ways that our faith expresses. She feels deeply connected to a more traditional Christian outlook, and I feel more connected to a very alternative, more new age outlook. But, as we were having our discussions, it was so interesting because I think what we both experienced was this, we could see the rigidity coming up in our conversation. And then we would remember, oh, but it's all about love. It's all about faith. It's all about love. And then maybe the rigidity might come up as we were sort of debating nuances, or maybe not debating is too strong, where we're talking about different nuances of our faith. And then we get, and it's all about love. And it's really messy right now. We live in a really messy world. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of rigidity. Actually, what I'm getting now is it's not so much that there is a lot of rigidity. The rigidity is more visible because it's ready to come down. It's ready to soften. We're ready to move into this new earth, this new paradigm. We are ready to move into an age of love where unconditional love is more commonplace, where we are actually in a place of loving ourselves and it's normal, and loving each other in a more soft and open and accepting way. And, we actually said that to each other. We'd be like, yeah, but you know what? Whatever the difference is here, we don't really know. We know that we need to love. And we know that we need to love each other. And we know that through that pathway, we'll get to whatever understandings we need to get to. But the division that we're seeing in the world is the rigidity that I'm talking about, the rigidity in your thinking. We as individuals, as we identify that rigidity, that where we're keeping love out, where we are not following the love, and soften and follow the pull of our hearts and move softly, kindly, patiently in the direction of love, life becomes simple and life becomes good. It becomes really, really good. On my way down, I was driving for 8 hours in the car this week, both ways. So, 16 hours plus a whole bunch of driving in Los Angeles. And when I'm driving, for me, that can be a really rich time for me to open up to spirit because I'm just, don't really got anything going on. And when I was on my way down to Los Angeles, I had this incredible experience in the car that I want to share with you. As I'm driving down, I came to the sort of popping realization that if I died today, I would die complete. Not because I'm done with what I want to do, not because I want to die. That's not what it's about. I don't. I have lots of things I want to do. Lots of people I want to connect with. Lots of service I want to bring and birth out into the world. But if I was called home today and left this body, I would die complete. Why? Because I love myself. I did not know that my purpose in life was to love myself until I worked at it and I worked on my rigidity and I did my healing work and I connected to spirit and I stayed strong and committed. But when I arrived at self-love, I arrived at the pinnacle of my life. And now the difference moving forward, the difference for my life is before I got to a place of true love for myself and therefore love for others. Before I got there, everything I did was frenetic. Everything I did was trying to achieve something, to accomplish something outside of myself, to try and do something. What am I here for? When I arrived at self-love, when the walls came down in my own rigidity, my own BS, when those came down, everything I do now, I'm still going to do a lot, but it's not because I have to, it's frenetic. It's because I want to. I can do whatever I want. And there's joy and there's love and there's lightness in my life because I have let go of my rigidity. Will my rigidity come back? Of course it will. I'll be experiencing rigidity. I'm not enlightened. Enlightenment is a misnomer. It's not a thing. There's awakening. And there's the enlightenment lifestyle, where you commit to what you perceive so clearly in your awakening experience. But I have arrived at self-love, which means that everything that happens now from here on out, I can handle because I love myself. And so I'm able to follow that path of love more clearly. I'm able to hear it more clearly, follow the pull of my heart, follow the love, follow the love, follow the love. And that's what I want for you. I want that for you with everything I've got. Everything I've got. Imagine living in a world where we all love ourselves and how much we get to love each other because we love ourselves. I'm telling you. So self-love is where it is at. And that is the basis of everything we do in Bhava. We go into the Bhava, my students, our school. We heal, we learn to love ourselves, and we learn to connect with spirit so we can bring this energy out into the world. It is powerful work. And again, I want this for you with everything I've got. Let me tell you about the other experience I had on the way home. So that was really juicy. Okay. That was really juicy. On the way home, driving, I just the day before had a very intense dinner with my sister. And we had talked a lot about Jesus and Christianity and sort of my faith and her faith, and like doing a little comparing and contrasting and coming back to love, and it was a really beautiful evening, but it definitely left its imprint on me. I was churning on our conversation, which I love it with that. I just love that. Her and I are, it's really cool. We're half sisters, and we didn't grow up together. We sort of kept touch with each other on Facebook, but there was just this immediate simpatico when we connected. Immediate, and she's kind of doing her version of what I'm doing with my life. She's a life coach for Christian women looking to find their purpose, and I just think it's just beautiful. And she is so beautiful. She is such a beautiful human, and but it kind of got me churning a lot and thinking about. And it actually brought up some rigidity in me, and I was noticing it, and I was like, "That's interesting. What's this?" And I'm kind of feeling this something, and so I thought, and so then because I'm a channel and it's perfect and there's all love, I'm driving along and there Jesus shows up on my left, right here, boom, just right behind me, my purview, and it was so strong. And it was like, and he said to me, he said he was very much a real person, and the love I felt emanating from that being. He sort of brought me back to the time when he was alive. And you know what my response was? My feeling was, wow, so much love in one being. So much love in one being. It was all in his heart. That man, when he was alive in a body, radiated love like you and I can hardly imagine. And that is why he has, and his teachings have been brought 2000, survived 2000 years. And yeah, we've humaned it. Okay, we've gotten rigid about it, incredibly rigid about it, and made all kinds of stuff around it. And that is shifting, is what I'm hearing from Jesus, that is shifting. His teachings are going to become more distilled and more pure. And that is because the generations moving forward, the people being born into this new energy are going to perceive it differently, and it's going to come out differently. So it's an amazing time to be alive, my beautiful friends. Follow the love. Just follow the love. Where you find rigidity, soften. Move into the love. It's very easy when we follow the love. Okay, I am so grateful for you all jumping on today. Thank you so much for being a part of this mission, for being a part of this broadcast today. If you have found this video helpful, I would like to ask you to share it with people who you think would benefit from it as well, would benefit from this message, and continue to leave your comments and expand on this message for us, because there's more to it than just what I received. All right. And I want to hear from you. I want expansion on this message too. Follow the love is the message. I want expansion on this. So again, if you're interested in the Bhava Spiritual Mission of what we do, check out our website. It's in the comments, bhavamission.org, not the comments, the description of the video. Not only do we have our school, right, but we also offer readings and spiritual counseling from our graduates. There's a list on the page, and on our website, and you can book with whoever you feel drawn to. We try and keep it real accessible for you. So if you're looking for guidance, if you're looking for spiritual guidance, if you're looking to connect with spirit, go check out who we got on there and see if you're guided to someone. Go ahead and book a session. And if you would like to learn more about our school, the Bhava Ministry, there's an application form on our website. Go ahead and fill it out, and we'll be in touch and set up an interview and see if this feels like a good fit for you. If you're looking to connect fully with spirit and bring that out into your life and into the world, live in partnership with spirit, I really don't think there's any better container than the Bhava Ministry. So again, thank you so much. I love you. I adore you. I appreciate you. And I will see you again very soon. All my love.